ironically, I was literally born, bred, and designed to be a wrestler.
I'm well aware of that.
I wasn't aware of that.
I'm well aware.
I wasn't
of it.
aware of that until
From the first time I saw you.
Really? I'm getting goosebumps.
I thought it immediately.
I didn't see it at all. It
Yeah.
wasn't until after our first WrestleMania, I came backstage, and your dad was like, "Your future is here," or something like that. And I was like, "Okay, buddy.
Okay.
We'll see about that."
I've heard about
And-
you.
Yeah.
Oh, what's your story? Don't you dare be sour. Clap for Stephanie and feel the power.
This is a WWE and Fanatics original production brought to you by Game Day Men's Health. Do you have a side that you prefer? Really?
I'm not on it.
Would you prefer we switch?
Would you do that?
Sure.
Do you not have a side?
No.
Wow, must be nice.
Well, I mean,
I would totally-
I might have a side, but I'm not aware of what my side is.
I would totally switch if you let me.
Yeah, do you want to switch?
Yeah.
It could be kind of fun. Can we tell that because it's your side?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Great. Normally I've had to fight people for it.
You don't have to fight me.
Okay, so I'm sandwiched now.
Yes.
I touch her a lot.
That's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. That's fine. Oh, now we're cooking.
Should we interview her?
Yeah, I think maybe.
Should I feel bad for taking the host seat?
Why?
This is actually good because this is where I sit for my pod.
Oh, okay, this is perfect then. I'm the one out of my element.
I mean,
Thanks for doing this.
No, of course.
Thanks.
Of course. If you feel more confident in a particular.
Yeah, I feel good about it. Every
So
time
what
I
is it about the side? Because
I'm asymmetrical. My face is asymmetrical.
But everyone's face is
I
asymmetrical.
think it's because my hair swoops this way,
Okay.
and I think my jawline's sharper on this side. Not think it is. And every time I do a podcast opposite, I'm just like, I should have done it.
You
the
don't
other way.
feel as good.
Nah.
You don't feel as confident. When did you discover that you had a side?
Probably like early 20s.
Really?
Probably like
But
early
now you
20s.
started vlogging when you were 10, right?
I wouldn't call it vlogging.
Okay, educate me. What,
Yes,
what would it
yes.
be called?
Wait, so this is about, we've begun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
we're going.
And you want to know my story?
Yes, this is about you.
Bro,
Which I have a feeling is your favorite topic. No?
I am pretty sick.
Based on the seat switch.
I am pretty awesome.
You are. I mean,
Thanks, Steph.
and a big success.
I'd say even bigger than big.
You are. You're a phenomenal success
even
story.
if-
But I also think you haven't peaked yet. So I don't want to because then where do you go from there, right?
Yeah. No, I don't think so either. It's crazy because, they said I peaked in high school and then I just,
Yeah,
they were
no.
so wrong.
They were so wrong. They were so wrong. But so what did you start doing at 10 that was akin to vlogging?
I think it was actually 9. I was
Oh, okay.
9 years old. I had this weird obsession with being able to capture what I was seeing with my eyes on a screen. Started with digital cameras.
Okay.
I was obsessed with taking pictures of flowers
Oh.
as a 9-year-old boy. Flowers. My mom was gonna paint my room one day. She said, "Logan, what do you want to paint your room? Like anything special?" I was like, "Mom, I kind of want to put flowers on the wall."
Really?
Yeah, and like my dad sat me down. He's like,
Son?
"Son, boys don't normally do that kind of thing." And I was like, "Yeah, nah."
I was kidding.
Put a football in there, Dad. Dude, let's put basketballs on the wall. And I was like, nah. But I really like taking pictures of flowers. I love the aesthetic of seeing the flowers on my digital camera. And then it graduated to video camera when I got enough money for my birthday parties. I saved up for a video camera. And I was obsessed with being a goofball on camera and then going and watching it back. I don't know why. I don't know why. I just thought it was incredible. You could save a moment visually so we can watch it forever.
Right.
And then this new site called YouTube had just come out. I'm like 10 years old, trying to, as a 10-year-old, imagine figuring out the nomenclature of digital media. What the hell does a 10-year-old know about the word upload?
Well, you learn, right?
Because I'm just sitting there
But,
on
and
my
you're
computer.
like a sponge. I think when you're that age, there's no reason for you not to learn it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I'm
Like you figure things out in a different way when you're younger, and there's just you don't think you can't figure it out, right?
Indeed.
Like there's nothing stopping you. You're just gonna figure out how to do it and do it.
Indeed. The ignorance was a tool.
Yes.
Because I was just like, dude,
I don't think of it as ignorance, though.
a 10-year-old not knowing the
A
lexicon.
10-year-old
for-
figuring out the lexicon and
pretty
being
big.
able to do it. That's
Yeah.
that's the switch.
Yeah, that is true.
But did you love art, or it was just all digital? Digital art.
It was mostly
colors?
digital. I liked the colors. This was
or
before
like
I knew I was.
textures and patterns in the flowers. Like what
I
what
just thought-
specifically was it that drew you to it?
I just thought flowers were so beautiful. I don't know why. I liked the way they looked on a screen, and then we went to Washington D.C. one year, and I would take pictures of all the monuments. I liked capturing
You
these
had a
beautiful things
you had
on
a
screen.
vision, maybe.
Yeah, kind of. Like I just had this burning desire to capture and just
and
enjoy.
did you like because you grew up in a different world than I did because digital didn't exist when I was
Yeah.
growing up. Like what were you drawn to? Like you became a content creator so young. Is that a pattern that you followed? Did you see someone else creating content? No.
No,
It
no,
was
no.
just your own.
There's no such thing as a YouTuber.
Yeah.
There's just like that wasn't a thing. I'm telling you, just like
Are you one of the first?
I guess from a chronological technical standpoint, yes. But Steph, I didn't make it for 8 years. I made
Sure.
videos with no one watching with my brother for 8 years.
But they all exist today.
So no.
No.
So I actually, this is one of my biggest regrets in life. I went back and deleted the original batch of YouTube videos that my brother and I made because I was at this point now in 6th grade, right? So I'm 11. I've been making videos with Jake for 2 years. And I went to go show this girl. Her name was Molly. I still remember her name. Molly. I went to go show her our videos. And I was so proud. I was like,
Right?
"These just goofy videos online. I'm editing. I'm uploading. I figured out what it meant.
Right, right.
I'm uploading these videos." And I showed this girl, Molly. And she's like, "Yo, that's so cringe. This is not funny."
Oh no.
And it destroyed me.
Molly.
I was like,
Sucks.
I was literally like, wait, this girl doesn't like my video. Like girls don't like my videos. This is horrible. And I went and I deleted all of them.
And you don't have them anywhere?
We found them. They're backed up. Thank God.
Okay.
So no regrets.
I wish they were public because
But
like
you can still make them public.
we can. That's actually not a bad idea.
I mean, you can release.
That is
like,
not a bad idea.
What's Your Story?
Seth.
I'm just saying.
That's incredible. I mean, these
Today.
videos like 9-year-old and 7-year-old Jake
I
and Logan
think that's
Paul.
pretty cool.
Do you know my first ever video was me and Jake doing stunts in our basement? Doing stunts in our basement. Like, which by the way is exactly what I'm doing now as an adult,
Right,
but I'm not in
right.
my basement. I'm in a ring in front of 50,000 people. Ironically, I was literally born, bred, and designed to be a
No,
wrestler.
I'm well aware of that.
I wasn't aware of that.
I'm well aware
I wasn't
of it.
aware of that until
From the first time I saw you.
Really?
On,
I'm getting
yeah,
goosebumps.
I thought it immediately.
I didn't see it at all. It
Yeah.
wasn't until after our first WrestleMania, I came backstage, and your dad was like, "Your future is here," or something like that. And I was like, "Yeah, okay, buddy.
Okay.
We'll see about that."
I've heard about
And,
you.
Yeah. I was like, dude, I have few, but I have a couple funny stories about your dad. And that was one of them. I was literally like, yeah, okay, we'll see about that. And then I went right to the locker room And I see me doing the frog splash and all these moves with the Miz. I was like, yo, I look like a wrestler. This is crazy. I was like, I was buying it.
Yeah.
I was buying what I was selling in that
Yeah.
ring. And I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Maybe Vince was right. He was right.
What are some of the other funny stories?
Okay. So part of the reason WWE originally hired me was because I had a social presence. I had followers online. You guys do this. You'll bring in outsiders,
Sure.
integrate the audience. It's a nice cross-pollination, if you will. And I went to the office to pitch him my ideas and what I could bring to the WWE and how I thought I could add value.
And this is after your first
This
appearance,
was,
or this is
I
before?
think this was before.
Okay.
Yeah, this was before
Okay.
WrestleMania. I was like, these are my ideas. This is what I want to do. I'm big into making moments, and I was like, like, what are the big moments? You know, we've had a lot in WWE to this point, but I pitched him these kind of like what I considered innovative, viral ideas. For me, it was all about virality. What's the
sure.
moment? And I
Something you understand better than most.
yeah,
do.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand it pretty well. Thank
Yeah,
you.
no, you do, for sure. No doubt.
So I talked for like 15 minutes in this meeting, and Vince didn't say a word. He was just like nodding, and I'm like, dude, am I resonating? Like this. Also, does he even
hear
know what
me?
I'm saying? Yeah, can this guy hear me? Like I really wasn't sure. I was like, dude, I sort of feel like I'm speaking a foreign language. And we walked out, and I spoke to my WWE rep, Kristen Pouty. I was like,
Who was a big fan of yours, by
she's
the way.
incredible.
She is the whole reason why,
She is.
why you're here.
No, literally.
No,
She-
I know that.
She convinced me. She's like, you got to do it. I was like, I guess I'll try. Like,
Yeah.
Now it's my life.
Yeah.
But I walked out, and to Kristen, I was like, yo, I don't think he understood or no, she said it. She said it. She goes, I don't think he understood a word you said. I was like, dude, I know. I know. Damn. What? It's like, I wonder if he's going to like hire me, but apparently it's like it's downloaded in some way.
Yeah.
It downloaded in some way. And next
Well,
thing you know,
I mean, he's the ultimate showman, right? So when social media first started, I was running our digital team at the time, and I remember going to a conference and I was hearing somebody talk about how social media is not 100% of one person's job. It's 1% of 100% of everybody's job. And I brought that to Vince, and he goes, no. It's 100% of 100%.
whoa.
And then he was trying to make every department at that time implement social media, and we had to generate weekly reports on what our departments were doing in social media. And even though he didn't totally get it, he got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's a genius that way, the ultimate promoter, and he knew, even if he didn't understand you, he understood that you got something about going direct to the people, because that's the other thing. You bypass all the middlemen. You go right to the people.
And by the way, that's the brilliance of Vince
Yeah.
McMahon.
Yeah.
And we've seen that over the years. It's like you have this ability to adapt, even if you aren't entirely sure what's going on.
Yep.
You rely on people who are experts in a craft, and the WWE and Vince trusted me. I was the last person Vince ever signed, which I thought was really cool.
You
Yeah.
said there were a couple stories.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. Okay.
That was two.
I mean,
to be fair,
yeah, it's
those,
just
those
a
are my
couple.
those are my two Vince stories. But you know what I learned from that and your dad just in general. It's all about the show. It's all about the product. He built something that he would have died for.
For sure.
Like actually, like
Yeah.
it was all about entertaining people.
Well,
and
and
I
I-
have so much just respect for that.
So it was always his goal to elevate the business, right? And, because for a long time ago, it was seen as sort of smoky barroom, like crass, low class type entertainment. And it was always his goal because he could see it was Broadway. It was Hollywood.
Yep.
It was the best of athleticism,
Yep.
the best of entertainment. And he always really wanted to elevate the business. And that was sort of my mentality as well, coming in. But he took it to levels nobody ever imagined possible. I mean, and now look at where we are. It's, I used to rattle off all the stats, and I'm sure they've only grown.
The stats have only grown, mostly because of me.
Well, I mean, a lot because of you. A lot because of
Yeah.
you. I mean,
80, 90%. Because,
maybe
like,
more. Maybe
possibly
more.
more. The gate's
I
higher
mean,
than they've ever been.
you're being a little humble.
It's my thing.
It's more like 95%.
Maybe. Look, I want to remain humble. Everyone knows I'm the humble king. But it's just so hard sometimes. But I'll try my best here. The product is arguably the best it's ever been, at least from a revenue standpoint, certainly.
For sure.
Again, like, you're welcome, TKO, for the Netflix deal.
Yeah, I never got to personally thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes,
why you're here
thank you.
today.
Because I mean, my whole life I've fought for this company,
Yep.
and I've given everything I had to get it to, the places that I could. But I couldn't have dreamt to,
Well, 'cause now
to
you-
have gone to the level that you.
I appreciate you saying that.
Have now
well,
brought it.
well, now you have star power.
Yes, true star power.
Now you have true star power. I
And this knack for understanding the business and wrestling and the art of professional wrestling in a way that veterans could only dream of.
No, I know. It's actually even shocking to me how natural I am at it.
Which is true. You are very natural at it, but obviously.
Yeah, no, it's me. I'm the guy. But
Yeah.
but that's neither here nor there. What I'm saying is this: I actually feel like we should take inspiration from kind of like the Attitude Era. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Like, Steph, I'm trying to get messy.
Yeah?
I'm trying to take this shit to the next level, Steph. Let me tell you something that I bring to the table
Okay, tell me, Logan.
that no other wrestler does. An actual brain.
Oh,
I have intellect.
You
And-
do.
and it is being underutilized. Not just intelligence. I have a creative ability that I don't think most of my peers have. I have ideas.
you do.
I have ideas. They're
You
good
do.
ones.
They-
They're good ones. I want to be heard. I want to be heard because I think I can do what your dad did in elevating the WWE beyond just the WWE universe. Fuck the universe. We going interdimensional. We
There
going
we go.
interdimensional.
I'm with you.
Not just. I don't want to just serve the audience. Yeah, the audience is great. Whatever. You guys are gonna pay for your tickets. You'll be there. You're predictable. But what we want to do is reach fan bases beyond just the traditional WWE audience. That's
correct.
what I do.
Correct.
That's what I do.
You know that was the whole idea behind WrestleMania 1, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, that was the whole thing, bringing together celebrity
Yes.
across all different
Yes.
spectrums.
Yes.
Bringing it all together and getting audiences from all different walks of life.
And it worked.
And it worked.
And we need to do more of it. But honestly,
But you're all of that in one.
yeah, but
I
Steph,
mean,
stop gassing me up.
I mean,
Stop. You
Stop,
got
don't
to
stop.
chill out. You got to chill out.
I know I'm fangirling over
You
here.
stop.
Ever since she switched seats.
Just.
But
take it easy.
I do believe that you are incredibly intelligent. And I do think that that is the difference in life between who really makes it and who doesn't, especially in this business.
Yeah.
This isn't about hype or luck. It's about optimization, living stronger, thinking clearer, and performing better every day.
At Game Day Men's Health, that's the standard. Game Day Men's Health helps men improve testosterone, energy, and sexual performance with real testing and face-to-face visits.
They help men reach their full potential with science-backed care, from testosterone optimization and peptide therapy to ED and performance support with personalized treatment plans.
With over 400 clinics across North America, they've got you covered. No long waits, no online guesswork.
When life demands you be at your best, every day is game day. Learn more or book your visit at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. But going back to a young you, being able to build the empire that you've built, I mean, that's not happenstance. I mean, maybe some luck, but it's a lot of your hard work. And hard work is one of the lessons I learned very, very, very young. And it's one of the consistent themes of any successful person that we've interviewed on this podcast is that you have to outwork everybody. And I'm curious your stance on work ethic and how it helped you get to where you are. WWE aside, right? But how it helped get you to where you are today.
Contributes to the entirety of my success is the most important characteristic that a person can have. What is your work ethic? If you work hard, consistently, big keyword right there, day in and day out, you're unstoppable. My dad is a bit of a lunatic. If I have some of his traits in me, I'm not going to lie. My wife sometimes says, your Greg is showing. It's my dad's name. And sometimes my Greg does show.
And what does that mean?
It's just a little unhinged sometimes. Ego. Yeah, we'll unpack that later. What I'm saying is this. He would make Jake and I work our asses off as children. Like, he definitely broke most of the child labor laws. I consider calling the services
And
on
what would
him.
you do?
So he would have us work at hoarders' houses in cleaning up like the houses that he was refurbishing and renovating.
That's smart.
Yeah, smart for him, but like, bro, you weren't paying us, dude.
Yeah,
like our
look,
pay.
It's
Come
like,
on.
Where's my money, dog?
Chores.
You're making money. These were not chores.
But and how old were you?
This 8,
oh,
9, 10. Like, I was a child working like 12 to 16-hour days, and my pay was Wendy's for lunch. And I hated it. Jake and I hate it. Like, this is how we're spending our summer, Dad. However, we worked our asses off doing something that we hated. So when we found something we loved,
You were all in.
the hard work was given. Of course we're going to work hard. We work hard scrubbing 4 inches of gunk from every little crevice in a house so my dad could refurbish it and make, 5 to 10K.
Are you a handyman? Like, are you handy around the house?
The most minimal bit possible.
But
I
you
prefer to
could.
hire people.
But you could, if need be,
I can fix stuff.
you could fix stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Just make it. Sounds like you could.
No, I can do most things.
Yeah.
but you've worked hard enough.
And
so
if
that
not,
you
you'll
don't have
figure it
to,
out. Yeah.
Right.
Say it again.
He's worked hard enough so that he doesn't have to do it.
That's
right.
That's right.
Right. That's the goal.
Prefer to let others do it.
So when you found something that you loved, when was that? Like, so you started making this content with Jake. Molly shut you down.
Fuck you, Molly.
And then what happened?
Yeah, I think the first thing that I kind of saw that hard work really manifest in an interesting way was wrestling.
Really?
Yeah. I started wrestling when I was 12 years old. I wasn't gonna do it because I had wrestled at age like 7 and 8, like youth wrestling, and I honestly hated it.
Really?
The room was smelly. It was hard. No one else in my school was wrestling. It's not like the cool kid sport. I think it's becoming cool, but back then it was like not cool. And I
Everyone makes fun of the gear and everything.
gear,
Yeah.
you're wrestling,
Amateur
sweaty
wrestling.
men,
yeah.
the
Yeah.
singlet, yeah. And so I was like, dude, this is not for. But I was decent. So I wrestled for 2 years when I was 7 and 8. When I was 12, the coach approached me at school. He's like, hey, I think you should consider wrestling. You play football. Maybe just like come to the room. I was like, I'm not gonna do it, bro. He's like, I think you'd be good at it. And it's crazy because like a simple conversation like that entirely altered the trajectory of my life. Because I showed up as a 12-year-old and I was good because I had those 2 years of experience,
Right.
and I had athletic ability, and it was something that I was naturally kind of good at and was better than 95% of the kids. So I
It's a
kind
good
of
feeling.
I kind of found something that I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, oh, I'm not bad at this. And then I kept wrestling, and I was like, oh man.
And were you always a little bigger?
No. My
No.
friends actually call me Shrimp.
Really?
I was the shortest, smallest one of the group.
When was your growth spurt?
I was 17. I was a junior in high school.
Wow.
Yeah,
Late.
very late. I was a late bloomer. Jake's growth spurt wasn't until he was like 22. I'm not kidding, dude. Look at pictures of Jake as like a 20, 21-year-old. He is a tiny, tiny person.
Really?
Now he's a big boy,
Yeah.
thick,
Yeah.
2 C's.
But so here you are on the wrestling team.
Yeah, and doing well. Like,
And you did wrestling and football,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is very challenging.
Yeah, I play both ways. Like Steph, I really do it all. I'm not just saying that. And like,
No,
you
no,
know,
I'm aware. I'm
the
aware.
people who like are like, oh, like, how dare you talk smack to Tom Brady? And then like, I beat him.
Well, I
No
loved
one
your
gives
apology.
a shit about your
I loved your apology.
Well, I'm sorry, Jalen Hurts. That must be fucking embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, and you're afraid that you're going to impact his future contract negotiations, which
Makes me an empath.
That was right.
You apologize.
You also are an empath? I mean, is there anything you're not? But so I do want to ask you about a particular time in your life. And, you know, no one's path is perfectly linear. One of the things we always talk about on this show is like, what are your lessons? What are your biggest lessons that you've learned? Because we all make mistakes. Even the great Logan Paul at some point in time has made mistakes, right?
Especially
So
me.
here you are on the rise. And actually, maybe we should start with the rise, right? Like, when did you really, you started with Vine.
No, you
right?
just want to get to Japan. I know where you're
I do
going.
want to get there.
Let's
I want to
go.
get there.
Let's go.
Okay, we can go right there.
Nah, because the rise is whatever. Did some vines, made some viral videos, got a lot of
Well,
followers.
I mean, it's pretty whatever, like hugely successful.
It worked.
Yeah.
But you know what else it did?
'Kay.
It altered my priorities. It made me someone that I didn't want to be.
How so?
I developed this era of invincibility. I thought I was unstoppable.
Because everything you did was so well received.
Well received, turned to gold, millions of people validating you every single day, whether your behavior is right or wrong. It's just, I think this internet life can really skew your values. And my values got skewed as a 21-year-old.
It's so young to be so successful. Yeah. There's a lot of parallels to people in Hollywood and everything else, right? It's when you're, all you hear is, you know, you have the people who are just putting you over all the time, saying how great you are. How do you not believe it at 21 years old?
Especially with no guardrails in place.
Right.
I didn't have a babysitter. I didn't have like a team, a review team who would like
Well,
check my
and that
behavior.
team's not going to check you anyway because they're all making money off you.
That's the
so
other
they're
thing.
encouraging you.
That's the other thing, Steph. It's like as a 21-year-old, I didn't have the wherewithal to realize that having the yes men around me would actually ultimately hurt me so much worse, because that validation, there's no room for criticism, because if I got criticized by someone internally, it's like, wait, you don't
Yeah.
believe in me?
Get
Bro,
outta
get
here.
the fuck
Right,
out of
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
It's, I didn't foster that environment, and that's a mistake. That's a huge mistake. Now my
That's
team
really
knows,
interesting.
like, if you do not fucking yes men me, if anything, like, tell me no, but also don't be a dickhead about it.
Right,
Like
and tell me
don't,
nicely.
Don't always
Tell
say
me it's a great idea, but.
whatever it is. But like, I also don't need the naysayers.
Right,
Yeah.
sure.
But like, I do want to hear it.
Yeah,
I do want to hear, like
Perspective.
Like, yes.
Yeah.
Bingo.
yeah.
And so, yeah, at that point in my life, pre-Japan, I was really just chasing attention. That was
Anything and everything.
didn't matter. I was just
Yeah.
like, what is the next craziest thing I can do to get attention? And then wrong place, wrong time in Japan. Didn't turn the cameras off. Made a huge error.
But so what made you go to Japan?
I had always wanted to go to Tokyo.
So it was just like a whim kind of a thing?
Yeah. So we would travel for vlogs, and
Because you were now vlogging.
yeah, I was vlogging at the time, which is another absolute beast of an endeavor to shoot 10 to 20 minutes of cut down edited footage every single day.
Yeah.
You don't have time to think about literally what you're doing. It's
Sure.
like live the day, edit the video, it goes up the next day. And
So you were putting content out daily.
every single day,
For how long?
460 days.
Wow.
That's
A full TV show every day. We'd shoot 12 hours a day, maybe more.
That's crazy.
Every single day.
But
Yeah.
you loved it?
I thought I did. I thought I did. I
You
think
loved the attention.
I love the attention.
Yeah.
That's what I loved.
Yeah.
It was definitely fun. It had its moments, but it was a vehicle to feed the worst parts of who I was becoming. And I paid
Well,
the piper.
I mean, you can go back and psychoanalyze everything, right? So it's like if you feel for some reason growing up that you don't, or not that you feel this way, but or you don't get the attention that you want from the people you love the most for whatever reason, that you seek it, and attention can feel so good, right? And I think you can mistake it for love and holes that might have felt like were there. So it's a very normal, natural thing, you know, to seek it. It doesn't make you a bad person or that it was a bad side of you. It was just a side of you that needed something.
Yeah, it's always crazy because it's a little hard to sit here and like rationalize some of the decisions, and we can try, and I've certainly tried, but
It's not rationalizing
Yeah.
the decisions. It's just the why.
yeah,
You know, the why, the attention, regardless
Yeah.
of
I
the
don't-
decisions that went into that.
I don't fully know why. I mean, I've tried to unpack it. It's not like I had like self-esteem issues or anything. I think maybe I just wanted to like prove to people and myself that I was a certain person.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't even know.
Yeah. But it doesn't make you a bad person. But so what happened?
Yeah, well,
So you guys, you take a trip.
yeah, we took a trip. We wanted to shoot a video. I mean, everyone knows this story. I want to give you like broad strokes because I actually,
Only what you're comfortable with.
yeah,
really.
I mean, everyone knows. It even obviously like makes
So
me
then-
a little uncomfortable.
Yeah,
to, like,
so you don't have to talk about specifically what happened. What happened after?
there was a righteous fallout, and God was just, and I basically lost everything that I'd spent the last 11 years building. And I deserved it. And I think people see two sides of this. There are people who are like, yeah, that was fucked up. Can't believe you did that. There are people who are like, people overreacted. I agree with the former. I think it was a mistake. I think it didn't need to happen. That said, I am grateful that I took that opportunity to backtrack, really look myself in the mirror, and ask myself how and why that happened. How did I get here? Where could I have possibly went wrong in my life where I thought that was a good idea? And asking myself those questions and doing my best to be honest with the answers led me down a separate path that has ultimately led me to become someone who I can say I'm really proud of and I'm really happy with. But it's because I was willing to really become a better person, or at least do my absolute best to try to become a better person. And I understood that forgiveness was not a given, but I did ask to earn just a chance to be forgiven. Just open your mind, give me a chance. Let me try to show the world and show people like the best version of myself. And for me, I started experimenting with a bunch of different things to try to find myself, or at least like who I wanted to be. I went vegan for a little bit. I know it sounds silly, but like I thought there was like an empathy thing maybe tied into like animals and like the food you consume, and maybe it alters the way you think. I started skydiving, so I was like, I'm gonna put myself in positions where like, life or death decisions are made on a whim. I let myself fall in love for like the first real time in my life, and I thought maybe that could teach me some things about life. And then I started boxing because combat sports have an interesting way of allowing you to fight as hard as you possibly want, but you're still going to get the fucking shit kicked out of you every day. And you have to show up the next day and the next day and the next day if you want to get better. And so boxing for me was a way to kind of reground myself, humble myself, and once again become a likable human being, or at least a human being that could like themselves again.
Right.
Because I told you we vlogged for 460 days straight. I took that month off after YouTube blacklisted me and was, basically went from being the golden boy to the most disgraced YouTuber in history. And I realized I don't know who I am. And so even when I came back, I was still just pretending. I was still, and then I tried to be the villain, and I was like, that's not me either. Like, who the fuck am I? Who am I? And so how do you figure out who you are? For me, I just did a lot of stuff. I did a lot of stuff. I grew up. I was willing to learn from my mistakes. And after dedicating myself to boxing, I realized, okay, I think I'm on the, I don't maybe know who I am just yet, but I am on the right path.
I think people are always trying to figure out who they are and what is my identity, right? I hear that so often, and you went through it so publicly, and that's so hard, and you were so young.
It's both a blessing and a curse, though.
Sure.
Because also, you sleep in the bed that you make.
Sure.
And the blessing is that I am being critiqued and judged rightfully by millions of people. And so with that, I was able to mold my betterment in a really fitting way. Maybe that is the blessing and the curse, but also it's all out there.
Right.
This is there's no skeletons in the closet. Judge me at my worst, and that's fair because that's the bed that I made.
Yeah, but we all make mistakes, right? And some people hit rock bottom in a different way. Some people are using drugs or, different things, and they do unspeakable things they would never imagine they were capable of doing. I mean, horrific things. And we are all human. We are all capable of doing that, right? So it's the fact that you had the opportunity to, or not even the opportunity, the fact that you embraced what happened and turned yourself into the best version of yourself, right? And we are all always trying to be the best versions of ourselves every day, right? If that's the path that we're on. You're never ultimately going to, you're always chasing, right? Always trying to be the best person. But you have rebuilt your career into something I think you're very proud of.
I'm very proud of where I am.
Yeah, and you should be.
Thank you. But I also...
And you're a person who fell in love and has an amazing wife.
Yeah.
And a beautiful baby girl.
Thank you.
Right? And I'm sure you couldn't have imagined yourself in that position.
No, I definitely thought it was impossible. But beyond even the personal outcome of it all, I have to say, and I don't think I talk about this enough, I'm really proud of how we were able to funnel all that negative attention from the Japan incident into positive anti-suicide PSA and messaging.
Yes.
I have the most viewed anti-suicide video in history. It's called Suicide Be Here Tomorrow. I profiled a guy named Kevin Hines, who's a dear friend of mine at this point, who jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and survived. You've heard his story.
Yeah.
He's an incredible orator. He travels the world speaking about self-love and positivity. And his story is so interesting because, and I don't want to butcher this, I'll do my best, but he said the moment that his legs went over the railing, like the instant his legs went over the railing, he regretted it, which is interesting because without getting too into the weeds, and I hope this comes across right, that methodology allows a person to have that time for regret.
Yeah.
And so Kevin is now able to share that experience with people who are feeling self-doubt or who need to hear that loving thyself is possible, and there are people out there who can help you get through the thing. And so I got to highlight and profile this amazing individual with this amazing message in a way where we have one of the most impactful anti-suicide videos in history. And then Kevin has gone on to, like I said, just be so impactful with his message, including he's making a film at the moment about how after decades of trying to convince the San Francisco government to do this, they finally put a net under the bridge.
Wow.
They finally put a net under the bridge via legislature and however they got it done, they got it done. And so like now, like, you know, hundreds of people are not dying at the hand of the Golden Gate Bridge. And like, I am able to empower Kevin.
And amplify.
And amplify it.
Yeah.
And so I thought, I have to say, I am proud of that.
You should be.
I'm proud of that. I was able to, I think, make the best of a not so great
Right, of a
situation.
horrible situation.
Yeah.
And that speaks volumes to who you are. It really does.
Thanks.
Was faith a part of your journey at all? It is for some, it isn't for others.
It's interesting you asked that. It has not until recently.
Huh.
In fact, I have gone pretty viral in the past for sort of mocking faith and religion. And it's so crazy because after I did that, I like felt the wrath of God. Literally, like after I publicly like mocked faith, God punished me. And it wasn't like an immediate switch up, like, oh, I believe now, please, like leave me alone.
I hear you.
No,
Yeah.
hell no. My ego was like, nah, I'm not. Like, this is just this is a coincidence. This is life,
Right.
whatever. But years later, I noticed when I started opening my heart up to God. So when I pray, I say, "Dear God, Creator, Universe, Jesus." A deity of sorts. It's got to be one of those, if not all. If not
Just
all
name
of
them
them.
all.
I just feel like I feel like I checked the box. Well, because Steph, I've always had a semi-difficult time subscribing to a religion.
Sure.
Like I guess
You believe
techni-
certain pieces of different
Yeah,
religions,
well, I think
or
they all have like merit in their own way. Like
Sure.
like some of them, and the message sort of is like the same generally.
Right.
Be a good person. I love the forgiveness aspect of Christianity. I think it is such a powerful thing to do, to be able to forgive people and forgive yourself.
yeah.
And
I think that's the key.
yeah, like my faith journey started with one simple question. It was, what would Jesus do? And in this particular situation that I was in, my answer was he would forgive. And I employed it, and it worked. And I started opening my heart up to God, and I started praying regularly and just being grateful for my life. And now faith plays a huge part of my life, and my conversations with God are very important to me.
It's beautiful.
When you think about that, is it so much that you want the millions of people in the audience to influence your behavior? When you say, I needed them to forgive me, I needed, all of that. Ultimately, do you really need them, or do you really need God and yourself?
Yeah, no, I
Or your
don't-
family, or however you look at it?
Yeah, I mean, now it's just like, it's my family.
Yeah.
Again, the values change. Early 20s, it's me. Now it's daughter, wife, me. Just family. Like, and the daughter and wife are basically the same. Like they're the first rung on the ladder of priority for me. But the validation has become way less about what the audience thinks of me, which, by the way, is why I'm fantastic at my job, because I don't give a fuck.
Yes.
I truly don't.
It's great.
Well, when I first got here, Steph, I gotta tell you what. The WWE fans booed me, I was pissed.
But it was great.
Well, that's what Bruce Pritchard came backstage
Immediately,
and
I
told
was
me.
like, oh my God, he's just a natural heel.
I didn't realize that was the currency.
Yeah, no.
No,
It was just right there. I mean, the way they took to you, yes, they booed you, but they took to you. They cared enough to boo.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know that was the power.
Yeah.
Bruce came back. He was like, "That was great." I'm like, "What do you mean that was great? Everyone booed me." I was pissed. I was like, "Did they not know?"
That made them boo even more, which is
No,
so
I know.
much better.
Oh, my mom. Hi, mom.
Hi.
Hi, mom. I'm doing a podcast with Steph McMahon.
Hi. Well, I know we have.
My sweet, sweet mother. Best-selling author right there. That's my sweet, sweet mom. The most stable part of this family. Hoorah!
Moms usually are.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was pissed, Steph. I was like, "Bruce, do they not understand? I will get out of that ring and beat the shit out of all of them." He's like, "What are you talking about, bro? Just
He's
calm
like, it
down."
was awesome.
Calm down. And then I realized, like, oh, that's my power. That's my power.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a real power. So take me through your WWE journey now. So you finally, you get to this place, right? And you're in WWE and the audience is booing you and you don't get it. When do you get it? Because I said from the first second I saw you out there, I said to Kristen, I want to talk to him. I want to talk to him about how to enjoy that. Like, and how to work for it and how it is a good thing and how to lean into it.
It's way easier said than done, though.
It is, especially if you have no idea about our business.
No, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Like, you have no clue. You come in, you get booed, you're like, unexpectedly.
Yeah.
And someone's telling you it's a good thing. You're like, I don't get
It doesn't
that.
feel like a good thing.
Right,
And
right.
you know what else is crazy? If I'll go to other venues outside of WWE, a basketball, a Knicks game, whatever.
Like high school.
Yeah,
Right.
high school's different. High school's different. If I go to like a place where there's like adults,
Right?
and they'll put me on the Jumbotron, the stadium will boo.
It's great.
Well, outside of the WWE is actually a different beast.
Oh, I don't know.
Because those are real boos. Those are real boos. Like, let's be honest, the WWE fans, I noticed this is so funny. Most of them, boo, cursing at me, going crazy, boo. But the closer I get to them, the boos get a little quieter. And then they kind of stop. And
Right.
then I'm in their face, they're like, "Bro, can you sign my thing?"
Yeah,
Dude,
let's take a selfie.
what are
Yeah.
you doing? Like, you're pretending. Like,
But would you rather have them cheer when you're at a packed stadium
no,
or whatever?
no. I don't care now. No.
No, okay.
No, now
okay.
it's now.
No. I mean, outside of WWE,
No,
you were
hell
saying
no.
it's different.
Hell no.
So do you enjoy the booze now?
I
Just
feel
all around?
weird when people cheer.
Yeah,
I feel
I get that.
weird when
I
they
actually
cheer.
get that.
You do,
I really do.
That's
Yeah.
what an unrelatable thing to feel that you also do. Yeah, they cheer. I'm like,
Yeah, I'm always awkward. It throws me off my game
this
when
ain't the
they
gimmick,
cheer.
bro.
Yeah,
That's how we supposed to do, bro.
Yeah, just let me turn you quickly.
yeah. And by the way, I can. I'll get them there. Yeah. So I think the moment where I realized how awesome it was to pour salt in the wound and be the bad guy actually happened during my first WrestleMania.
Okay.
I got up on the ropes, the very top, for the first time in my career, and it was a bucket list item to jump off the top rope in
Okay.
WWE.
Okay.
What a crazy bucket list item. Before I even knew I was going to do WWE, I was like, this would be fun. And I get up on the top rope, and I do the Eddie Guerrero shimmy. I go like
Right?
this. And I like do this little face, and I do this. And the crowd goes crazy.
Of course.
Booing the shit out of me.
Who's this imitator?
Bingo. Frog splash, Eddie Guerrero splash. Boo. And in that moment, I watched it back. I went, oh my God, this moment right here. They went crazy. Just
yeah.
a little moment. They went crazy. And then I watched it back, and that was the highlight that everyone watched after the fact. Me frog splashing on Rey Mysterio after doing an Eddie Guerrero shimmy in a mocking, disrespectful way. And
Of
I
course.
went, oh, this is
Oh, I
sick.
get it. Oh, I get it.
I get this now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also, you guys just pay me so much for being bad. I was like, this has got to be working. Let me just be worse.
Do we have a chair for Logan's mom? I feel bad. She's just
Mom!
standing back there. Okay.
She's active. She's active.
WWE World returns to Las Vegas this April 16th through the 20th, and it's the can't-miss destination during WrestleMania week. WWE World brings the WWE Universe closer than ever to the superstars, legends, and iconic moments that define WWE. With immersive exhibits, exclusive merchandise, and experiences you won't find anywhere else.
See superstars like Drew McIntyre, Liv Morgan, Jey Uso, Dominic Mysterio, Tiffany Stratton, and many more, with even more appearances still to come.
Tickets are on sale now at WWEworld.com. Save 10% with promo code YourStory10. The #1 sports fan festival, Fanatics Fest, returns to the Javits Center in New York City from July 16th to the 19th, 2026. Fanatics has just announced the return of Fanatics Games, bringing back its high-stakes cross-sport competition where everyday fans go head-to-head with some of the biggest names in sports.
The 2026 Fanatics Games introduces an expanded format with a $2 million total prize pool and new nationwide qualifying opportunities for fans to compete alongside elite athletes. The inaugural winner, Tom Brady, as well as reigning fan champion Matt Denish, will be back.
WWE superstars Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Cody Rhodes, and Jey Uso will also be joining the competition for a shot at the title. Head to fanaticsfest.com to apply to compete or grab your tickets to Fanatics Fest. You don't want to miss out. Was your mom a great mom?
Fantastic. Best
Yeah.
mom you could ever ask for.
Yeah.
I'm not sure she knew exactly what was going on at all times. Imagine.
So tell me, like, one of the stunts. Did she ever like walk in on you guys doing one of these crazy stunts in your basement?
Yeah, all the time. But the best thing she did as a mother was be like, yeah, go for it. Go be kids. You want to post a video online? That's fine. Don't show the address. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe don't put your last name out there, but yeah, go
Right.
for it. Like a lot of parents, I feel like parent in a way that isn't conducive to who the child is. They're
Right.
parenting in restrictive ways that fulfill them instead of letting your kid just be themselves. Every kid has innate interests. I think that kernel of what you're observing in your child is so fucking valuable. If there's one piece of information that any parent takes from this podcast, it's watch what your kid is inherently attracted to doing. There's so much value in that because odds are, I bet you if you water that seed, you're gonna grow a fucking redwood because
Yeah.
they can figure out how to make it work and hopefully one day do what they love to do. It's part of the reason why I'm so blessed to say I feel deeply fulfilled with my life. Like it
That's a gift.
it's a gift. It's
That's a
such a
gift.
blessing. It's but it's because I get to do what I love.
Yeah.
And if you look back, we've even kind of talked about it just on this podcast. Stunts, wrestling, hard work, making videos. Like all of this started as a kid. It's the same thing I'm doing now.
And it led you. So when you say you're doing what you love, is that WWE?
It's one of the things. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Is that being an entrepreneur? Because you're also an incredibly successful businessman. And I do want to learn more about Rip It.
yeah, my collecting.
Yes.
Yes. So I'd say the two things at the moment that I'm most passionate about are #1, WWE, just because it encompasses everything that I'm
And
interested
you
in.
can be whoever you want to be.
Yeah, it's deeply fulfilling.
Yeah.
I get to.
And I'm not sure the audience, I mean, I hope they know and understand, but like you didn't have to. And you asked to become a full-time WWE superstar. Like you have doubled down and committed everything towards being the biggest success you can possibly be here.
Yeah.
And that's huge for our audience because you're committing to them. And that's the difference. And that's what people don't necessarily get. But you're committing to them when you commit to this business. And I just want to make sure that people know
Thanks.
that about you.
Thanks. They're still gonna boo me, Steph.
Well, you want them to. You want
Yeah,
them
please.
to boo you.
Yes, please.
Yeah, the worst is nothing. Have you ever heard crickets?
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, no. We don't like crickets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When they put your face up on the Jumbotron and nobody did, like,
No, yeah.
Nobody does anything?
No,
That's
no.
that's the worst.
Very bad.
If they boo,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
great. Way better than cheering.
Yeah.
Because then how do you keep them cheering? You do one thing, they like it.
Not interested.
No.
Not
It's
my thing.
It's not. So what other parenting advice? Oh, I'm sorry. So you were talking about the things that you love. WWE is one of them.
Yeah, WWE is number one. I am obsessed with collecting, which, by the way, guess what I did as a kid? I collected. Mom, do you remember what I collected as a kid? Yeah, Pokemon cards, rocks.
Flowers.
Big rock collecting. I didn't collect flowers.
Sorry.
Just took pictures of rocks, coins. Like, I collected stuff that I thought was cool.
Wow.
Now I'm an adult. I'm doing the same thing.
So can you explain it to me? Because I don't get the collecting
Sure.
business, like
Sure.
at all. I
Sure.
get the wrestling business. So teach me about Rip It and Pokemon, and you just sold a card for $16 million?
16 and a half.
$16.5
I got you.
million.
6-year-old Pokemon.
Thanks.
Oh yeah, I saw a very
Most
cute
expensive
video.
trading card of all time.
Yes,
Yeah.
which is huge.
It's the biggest.
And I saw you wearing the card that you sold, I believe.
I wore it out to WrestleMania.
Yes.
Which, by the way, is part of the reason why it's so valuable. It's my
Okay.
WrestleMania debut. This is funny.
Wow,
It's
this
the-
is so fascinating.
It is the most expensive WWE memorabilia of all time as well, because technically I wore it out to my WrestleMania debut.
Wow.
Yeah, it shattered all the records. It was a success through and through. So
But
let
you
me.
figured out how to make it profitable collecting.
Yeah. Yes. I always say this. There's a trifecta for me: business, passion, content. If I can do those three things, I am in my pocket. That is where I perform the best. I can do that with WWE. I can do it with collecting, because I found that at heart I am a storyteller, and I have a unique ability to tell really compelling, deserving stories of these artifacts from some of the most successful IP in history. Pokemon being my ultimate collecting passion. I understand people don't get it. I would say let's start here.
Yeah.
Why is a Pokemon card valuable? It's a piece of cardboard at the end of the day, right? Okay, why is money valuable? It's a piece of paper. Why is gold valuable? It's just metal.
It's the value people assign
Bingo.
to
It's
it.
it's assigned value. Pokemon has 30 years now of goodwill and emotional equity that its fans have, and they've structured the business in a way with scarcity, rarity, intrinsic value, and skill sets in Pokemon. And collecting Pokemon specifically has an interesting way to ignite a sense of nostalgia for a lot of people who grew up with this game that meant so much to them. At the end of the day, Pokemon is a franchise, in my opinion, about kinship and going on a journey with your companions and your friends. Who doesn't like going on adventures with your pets who battle on behalf of you? That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And I had logged so many hours into this game, so much so that when I was 22, I decided to get a tattoo of a Squirtle.
Stop.
Yeah, it's a Pokemon. My one tattoo is a Pokemon. Just because it was the only thing in my life that meant so much to me that I was willing to emblazon it on my body.
Wow.
Then one day I heard about the cards. This was years later, maybe a year later. I heard about trading cards. Gary Vee was like, "You got to look into Pokemon." I was like, "I actually love Pokemon. Let me see what this is about." And I called my financial advisor. I said, "How much money do I have sitting in there getting 5% a year?" He said, "You got about $1 million." I said, "Give me all of it." He's like, "What? What do you mean? This is like your backup." I said, "Give me all of it, bruh." And I had to convince this guy to give me my money. He's like, "What are you going to spend it on?" I said, "Pokemon boxes,
He's like, no, you're not.
cardboard." Yeah, of course they all said no.
Of
They're like,
course. Yeah.
"Hell no, you're not." And I was like, "Dog, it's my money. Give me my fucking money." Bro.
Right? Just give me my money. What am I paying
Withdrew
for?
the money. Bought first edition steel boxes, first edition Charizards. I was going crazy, but making content around all of it.
Yeah.
Because
That makes it more valuable.
that's not why.
No.
No. No, in fact, that screwed me.
Really?
Yes, because after I made the content, it all went up in value, but I wanted more stuff.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to buy more stuff, but it was now realizing, in my opinion, its true value. It was double or triple what it originally was, because I have this ability, like I said, to spotlight and tell a story around these collecting pieces of history that are are some of the most significant items of the most valuable and profitable IP in history.
Right.
Pokemon's the #1 grossing franchise in the world by a mile. It's not like an accident. People love Pokemon.
Yeah, but you described why. Because it's more than just a game or a figure or a card. It's because of what it makes you feel. Mm-hmm. And that's what matters the
Bingo.
most.
And if you never beat the Elite Four with your Charizard, your Gengar, your Dragonite, your Alakazam, your Machamp, your Onix, hopefully Steelix if you get a Metal Coat, you're not going to know what that feels like.
Right.
Metal Coat with a trade, by the way. It's not easy. And the Metal Coats are hard to come by, because you could also give it to a Scyther and get a Scizor, whatever you want to call it. But you got to make these decisions at a young age that matter.
That matter.
They matter.
They matter. I get it. I get that.
Is
I get that it
Vince
matters.
looked like when you were pitching your ideas?
Vince looked exactly like that. Exactly. He was like.
So in terms of collecting, right, you also collect dinosaur fossils.
I love dinosaurs.
So you are quoted saying something about, the perspective of, being around something that's 66 million years old. And what is that perspective? What's that story? What does that mean to you?
Dinosaurs have an interesting way of reminding me just how incredible this planet is. We live on a miracle. The fact that we are alive and sentient and can sit on this podcast with these things filming us and post it out for other people to watch, it is actually a miracle. Do you have any idea how big the universe is? How many galaxies, planets, stars there are in the universe? It is a number that is so shocking. You can't even comprehend it. You cannot even comprehend it. And yet here we are, alive on this rock that has so much rich history, including millions of years species that lived and died and went extinct before our time and ruled the planet for hundreds of millions of years. The dinosaurs were around for between 100 and 200 million years. 100 and 200 million years. Do you know how long humans have been around?
Not very.
2 to 300,000.
Yeah.
That is a blip in the radar. This species ruled our planet for a very long time. And before them, it was a different species. And so by admiring these fossils of ancient creatures that really, rule the most special miracle that we know of in the galaxy, it grounds me in a way that I really appreciate. I love looking at fossils for that reason.
And it gives you that perspective every time you look at them.
Every single time.
Yeah, the wow, the holy shit.
Just incredible.
Yeah.
This is incredible. These things are incredible. Yeah.
We have a Triceratops head too.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Sick. I feel
Ours is a mold of an actual, fossil, but it is not the actual fossil.
Yeah, it doesn't
but-
count. Doesn't
yeah.
quite count.
It does, because
No.
it's still the meaning of it.
No, I don't think so.
I think it does. I think it does.
Sorry to say. but,
So-
but you should get a real one.
I should. Well, yeah.
There's one at auction right now, but it's a whole skeleton. It'll,
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a great birthday gift.
Yeah, it's 4 to 5 mil.
At least
That
you
I
get it
can't
for
buy
me.
for you, but somebody can.
Yeah. Oh, is that it? Oh, that's
What?
actually that's sick.
Oh.
That's a T-Rex.
No,
No,
that's in
that's
my dad's
Vince's.
office. We bought that for my dad.
Whoa.
We at
See?
our place have a
No,
Triceratops head.
it's
Yeah.
incredible.
Is that truth?
Yeah, it is. Just seems to be everywhere, that guy.
Yeah, he is. He really is. I mean, you never know when he's going to pop up. But how do UFOs then fit into all of that? And you have some footage that you won't share,
Oh!
right? Right?
Stephanie!
Again, great place to share it.
I'll share my UFO footage
One day.
maybe when the time is right. UFOs fascinate me.
Yeah.
They should fascinate everyone. It is an undeniable fact that we are no longer alone and probably have not been alone for the entirety of our time here on Earth.
Did you see Age of Disclosure?
I did not. I haven't watched it
Really?
yet, which is
Wow.
shocking. Yeah.
Okay.
You know why? Because I'm pretty deeply ingrained with like the conversation online. I heard from fellow UFO heads. There's nothing really like revelatory.
There isn't, except for the non-UFO heads. It's pretty.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, because
eye-opening.
a lot of people for the first time was like, oh my god, like the government is even saying like we don't know what these crafts are and kind of acknowledging in a
Right,
roundabout way
and
that
this
we are the
crazy
most intelligent.
time-space manipulation that is a bubble around these different aircraft or
Yeah,
craft.
it's insane. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so essentially the theory is that these craft are able to create their own gravity. And by doing that, you can manipulate the time and space in front of the craft, and it can pull it forward.
all around the
Yes.
craft and in the craft.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And so they experience time differently. They can move. The physics of our planet don't apply.
Right.
They can like pick a point in space and like get there instantly. And so yeah, it's shocking. This stuff exists. How can you not be intrigued by
So
it?
how did you first come to be interested, learn about it? What was your first like, holy shit, aha moment?
You know what? I actually don't remember. I've always been fascinated with like aliens and UFOs since I was a kid. But I think as more and more of this stuff came out, and I think remember hearing about the Bob Lazar story, who is the scientist who worked at Area 51 allegedly and like reverse engineered a craft. But then you look into his story and it's so compelling. It seems ridiculous that this guy wouldn't be telling the truth, or at least he's very believable. He actually has a
He
document.
believes it for sure.
He
Yeah.
definitely believes it. And that's what Rogan says too, by the way.
Yeah.
When asked, do you think Bob Lazar is telling the truth? Rogan says, I think he believes it. Regardless, this is actually interesting because this ties into my footage. Bob Lazar has a documentary / movie coming out narrated by him and a fellow filmmaker. I think it's called something about S4, which was Area 51. That's where he supposedly worked. And I watched the trailer because the movie's not out yet. And in the trailer, about 3/4 of the way in, there is a craft that goes up in the sky and changes its exterior to a glowing orange skin-like texture, which, you know, if you're watching, you're not going to think twice about this footage, mostly because it's AI generated. But I think the footage was crafted with Bob's direction, and now
Of
with
what
AI,
he
you can
saw.
almost... it's almost like you don't even need the footage. If Bob's telling you, like, yes, that's exactly what I saw, you can imagine you're getting a pretty accurate recreation of, like, what he was describing. But this footage, where the disc turned orange, caught my attention because it looks exactly like the disc in the footage that I have.
And so were you recording like so it was your personal recording?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Story for another day.
Okay, all right. Okay. But you are in possession of said footage.
I have it. I can show it to you as well. It's not entirely compelling. You won't think twice about it until I do one thing. Okay. It's a blurry orange disc. Allegedly, these kids went to Area 51 to do this exact thing, and they drove all the way up as far as they could, and then they essentially found what they were looking for, and it was a UFO. That had this like glowing orange skin-like thing, and the kids were hiding in their car, and you could see the light like oscillating, and they're underneath the dashboard, like talking about like we can't get out of the car, whatever. Then they get out and they film the UFO. really poor quality footage, as you can imagine. It's grainy. The film has been played hundreds of times, whatever. It's compelling, not convincing. Until if you take your finger and you kind of scrub it backwards and forwards quickly, like you're not watching in real time, you're just going through the footage fast, the disc has a buoyancy to it on the air. It's floating almost as if you put a bobber in the water and someone taps the bobber, and it looks like it's floating on water, which I don't know if that's possible to fake in 1995. It is disgustingly smooth. And this characteristic has a name. I think it's like leaf or something. Like it's leafy. Like it's like a leaf floating on water.
Oh, wow.
And that's how people have described how they see craft. But why it's interesting is because it's the same thing I saw in the Bob Lazar movie trailer. It's that orange disc at Area 51 where he worked, and these kids filmed this orange disc at Area 51 where he worked. And so I'm trying to hop on a FaceTime call with Bob Lazar and see like, yo, is this the craft that you guys worked on?
That would be amazing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And you've studied and looked at so much footage, digital footage mostly, from, all of your experience. But since you were 8 years old making these videos, that you can tell in 1995 that the tech wasn't there to do what you're describing.
I just, not like that. Not like that. If you don't do that in the video, you're like, it could be interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, it is floating in the air like it's too smooth. It's too smooth. I don't know how you would fake that in 1995. But maybe they did. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, who knows, right?
I don't know. I'm a
did we
believer.
land on the moon? Did we not land on the moon?
Don't
right?
even get me started. Don't even get me started.
Well, Logan, I can't thank you enough for being so vulnerable on our podcast, for sharing so much. I mean, I have wanted to have a conversation with you, and maybe we can at some point too, just about WWE and bringing all of yourself. And you're with the right guy. I mean, you're with the wise man.
The wise man
he
himself,
is definitely getting in there.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah, he is. He is. Yeah. Whenever, Steph. Thanks for having me on. I talked a lot. I'm so sorry.
Why? That's the whole point.
Yeah, I just normally don't talk this much.
No, but this is the whole point of our podcast.
Yeah, I guess it is.
It's
a podcast.
called "What's Your Story," not
about you.
What's our story.
Yeah, that's fair.
Is there anything you want to plug
Nah. I don't need your business.
while you drink your Prime?
Yeah, it's funny. People make comments about Prime, obviously, when I'm in the ring, and sometimes they'll even have signs. They'll be
And how cool?
Well, yeah, it's awesome. It's the attention, but they'll be like, hey, Prime sucks, whatever. I go, we don't need your business. You look mad dehydrated. I can tell you don't drink protein anyway, buddy. Yeah.
What's your favorite Prime flavor or product?
Glowberry is my favorite hydration.
Okay.
I drink the cherry limeade Prime Energy 18 plus every single day before I work out. It's the best pre-workout, energizer, whatever, and before every match. But we just released a Prime Shake. I said I wasn't going to plug anything. Here I am. We just released a Prime Shake. It has 32 grams of protein, 3 grams of sugar, 150 calories.
Awesome.
The reviews are stellar. People really like the product.
Awesome.
I think we might become a protein company.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you have so much in front of you.
Yeah, I have a title match tonight.
Yeah. You got to get ready.
I know.
Again,
I know.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thanks, guys. Hey, hit that subscribe button, like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye.